Give me a moment. I always get a kick out of people say, "Can you give me a second?" Yeah, I start counting. I'm not asking for a second. I need a moment. All right. Now we have Jose Alejandro Bustamante. Have we got all the papers done?
Yes, sir, we do.
Very good. Then, Ms. Rivera, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. The court calls case number 650-937, State versus Jose Alejandro Bustamante. And present, the record shows that the attorney of record is Austin Hagee. Is that correct? Or Hager? What is it?
Yes, Your Honor. It's Austin Hagee, and I am filling in for Mr. Hagee today. He is picking a jury for trial. My name is William Salazar, and I will be representing Mr. Bustamante today.
All right, Mr. Bustamante.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have your officially your attorney is Austin Hagee. Do you have any objection to Mr. William Salazar being in on his
No, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Mr. Bustamante, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may put your hand down, please. Mr. Bustamante, you were charged with assault, bodily injury, married, which is family violence. You understand the seriousness of that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Before we proceed, I'm going to discuss with you particular rights and protections that you have. First of all, you have the right to remain silent. Now, this discussion will be orally, but Ms. Kayleen Rivera is a certified court reporter. She is making an official record of this proceeding, including our discussion. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to remain silent. That means you don't have to make a statement. You don't have to say, answer questions, and you don't have to submit written paperwork, especially papers that are that contain a confession or admission to wrongdoing. That's the right to remain silent. Do you understand? You have that right.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to a jury trial. That means that you and your attorney and the state's attorneys would select from what's called a jury panel or a pool of disinterested parties. You would select 6 people. They would hear the testimony and see the evidence and materials submitted in this trial, and they would decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. That's called the right to a jury trial. You understand? You have that right.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to confront witnesses. That means face any accusers, anybody testifying in your case. You and your attorney could question, cross-examine, or challenge any witness that would testify in your trial. You understand? You have that right.
Yes, Your Honor.
There is a right called the right to appeal. That right means that you yourself or your attorney or both of you together could demand that a higher court review the official record, all the evidence and testimony in this case for whatever challenge you wanted to make. That right of appeal, you'd have to follow the rules on the time limits and the forms of documentation you'd have to submit. That's the right to appeal. You understand? You have that right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Finally, you have the right to demand a public courtroom, open courtroom hearing. You have that right, and separately, so does the state. You both have the right to demand that this proceeding be held in the open public courtroom. Now, be aware that this audio conference is being streamed on YouTube, so the entire public that has computers can access or can see and hear this proceeding. Now, that right belongs to you, and that right also belongs to the state. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, I'm going to show you some documents. Those documents have what I call identifying information at the top. And all these different documents will be made part of the record of this proceeding. And at the top, the identifying information of all of them except one will have your case number 650937, the state of Texas versus Jose Alejandro. Is your last name Alejandro Bustamante?
It's my middle name is Alejandro. My last name is Bustamante.
All right, these documents will have to be amended or corrected to indicate your last name is Bustamante. This one here says Jose Alejandro. That is insufficient. And it says in County Court of Law number 5, Bexar County, Texas. Now, that's the identifying information. As I said, these will be modified to include your last name. After the identifying information, it says the title of the document. This one's, the title, by the way, will be in all capital letters and bold print. This one says State's Consent to Video Conference. I mentioned a while ago that both you and the state have the right to demand this proceeding be done in the open public courtroom. The state attorney, in this case, Ms. Caitlin C. Morgan, has signed on behalf of the state saying that they are in agreement to do this in video conference. Do you see and understand that document?
Yes.
All right. Now, the next document is what's called a discovery acknowledgement. You'll notice that it starts off at the top, again, with the identifying information. That identifying information, or I should say after that identifying information, the document here is titled Discovery Acknowledgement. The very first line there says Article 39.14 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. That identifies a particular law that the state of Texas requires the prosecutors, excuse me, to share with you, to acknowledge, to provide access to all of the relevant information and evidence involved in your case so that you and your lawyer are fully informed and are able to make the best decision for yourself. You understand that that's what this law talks about?
Yes, Your Honor.
It is signed by your attorney and the state's attorney. They're saying this law has been obeyed. Now, the next document, this one is yours. This is where you say, yes, I agree to the video conference. Did you see and understand that? You sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, the next document is called Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. You'll see again the same identifying information at the top. Then it has 3 sentences. The first one says, I, Jose Alejandro. Somebody messed that up. It should be Jose Alejandro Bustamante. We need that changed, folks. Either Ms. Flores or Ms. Garcia. One of you, I'm sure, is responsible to get this corrected. You understand that that will be changed so it says Jose Alejandro Bustamante. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The second sentence says that you know that you're charged with assault, bodily injury, married / cohabitating. The third sentence, what does it say? Can you read that?
It says, in case I hereby enter a plea of no contest to the following allegations of assault, bodily injury. I'm married.
Do you have children?
I do have children.
With is the mother of the children the person that is you alleged to have assaulted?
No, yes, Your Honor. But
All
we don't speak anymore.
Okay. You're staying away from each other?
Yes, yes. Just involved with the kids. But but that's separated with the parent.
All right. Now, the rest of this document is divided into 15 numbered parts, or at least substantially, this document has 15 numbered sections or parts. The very first one, number one, you see that where it says number one, I understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This part says the range of punishment, how you can be punished for what you've done and what you're pleading to. There's a stack of vertical boxes. There's only one that's checked. What does it say next to it?
It says a Class A, $0 to $4,000 fine and 0 days to 1 year in jail.
That is the range of punishment, the punishment you can receive for your offense. Now, Mr. Salazar, did you or Mr. Hagee review carefully with Mr. Bustamante the entirety of this document?
Yes, we both did, Judge.
All right. And are you satisfied that he knows and understands the content of this document?
Yes, Judge. And this is also a plea that is associated with the plea deal out of the 227th.
I'm sorry, say that again.
This plea is also a part of a package plea deal from the 227th.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bustamante, are you very much aware of the severe consequences of any finding of family violence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who informed you of that?
Both Austin Hagee and William Salazar.
All right. Now, where were you born?
I was born in El Paso, Texas.
All right. The documents will reflect that you are a U.S. citizen. Now, the document in front of you now is a document wherein I certify the contents. That is, this is a certification of the defendant's right of appeal. I talked to you about the right of appeal a while ago. There is a vertical stack of little boxes, and each one says something about a different right of appeal. If you look at those boxes, the fifth box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it says this is a plea bargain case and the defendant has no right of appeal. Do you see that one in particular?
Yes, Your Honor, I do see that.
Besides the change in your name up on top, there will be a check mark in that box. You're aware that that's going to happen, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand that you have no right of appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you have signed this document, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, the next document, we're going to take a moment to reload the computer. There it is. Well, is this going to be a no application? Ms.
I
Barkin?
believe it's a judgment satisfied if it pleases the court, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. This is the plea agreement. This document says on there, this one correctly says State of Texas versus Jose Alejandro Bustamante. And it shows the case number correctly. The first two boxes will be marked. The first one talks about the right to remain silent. The second box identifies you as a U.S. citizen. Then there is a section in there, defendant's acknowledgements. That's 5 vertical boxes. Each one has a declaration concerning your constitutional rights and protections. Did you review this section and understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you see the individual things that it talks about?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, they're all check marked. You understood them. Mr. Salazar, are you satisfied that that section that refers to different rights and protections, that Mr. Bustamante understood that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, before I accept his plea, Mr. Salazar, have you and or Mr. Hagee carefully and fully informed Mr. Bustamante about the resultant limitations or restrictions that he will have as a result of his plea of nolo contendere, no contest, to family violence?
Yes, Your Honor. And he has already pled to a felony, so some of the consequences are overlapping. So he does understand that, Your Honor.
All right, so you had a felony charge on that?
He has already pled to the felony.
But
And
the felony was a family violence charge?
no, I'm sorry, Your Honor. It was not a family violence, but he did plead to a felony, which would prevent him from having a firearm.
Okay. All right. Which is, Mr. Bustamante, that's one of the biggest things that results from family violence. The federal law says that from now on, you cannot possess, you can, in a way you can think of it as you can't even get close to any firearms. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, again, officially to the charge of assault, bodily injury, family violence, how do you plead?
No contest.
All right. The court accepts your plea of no contest. I find you guilty. You're ordered to appear in the offices of Bexar County Court of Law number 5 or the sheriff's office, whichever is more easily available, to have your thumbprint placed on the documents as required by law. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have to do that within 7 days. All right. Now, as a result of your plea of no contest, as I mentioned before, a no contest plea is taken as a guilty plea in this court. As a result of your plea, I find that you are guilty. I accept the agreement that's been made by the state with you. You are sentenced to 27 days Bexar County Jail. 0 fine, 0 court costs. You're granted credit for time served, time and money run concurrently. The court finds that you have satisfied the judgment. In addition, the court enters an affirmative finding of family violence. Again, Mr. Salazar, you and Mr. Hagee have carefully informed Mr. Bustamante of the results and limitations placed on him by that finding of affirmative finding of family violence?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Bustamante understands that another family violence case will be an enhanced family violence.
All right. Then the court will find that you have satisfied the judgment. You owe nothing further on this particular case to the state or to this court. And at this point, Mr. Bustamante, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Salazar?
No questions for me, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Mr. Edelman?
No questions from me, Your Honor.